gauche. I was raised in a very musical household in southern New Hampshire in a town called Peterborough, and I have been making music as long as I can remember, even though it's been to varying degrees and lots of different strange things. The biggest, most important part of my background is probably my family, especially my father, who was a musician before me, and he was a world music musician. So I grew up in this house full of instruments from all around the world, and was really always surrounded by a very rich musical atmosphere to kind of be raised in, playing piano and playing drums from all around the world. So that was kind of my upbringing. And then met this guy many years later in college. We went to school together at Marlborough. And this is the other half of Sol Kiel.
Yes. Thanks. Yes. My name is Michael Harris, and I grew up in Newton, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. Been interested in music for a long time, and I'm mainly a double bass player and upright bassist. And started on the instrument in 4th grade. Thought it was the coolest thing. It spoke to me in a particular way, and it continues to speak to me. Really didn't take it seriously or start studying it very deeply until I got to college, so 18 or 19. I played electric bass in rock groups in the area, very interested in jazz. I studied a lot of different kinds of music.
You look ridiculous.
Do I feel warm. I look ridiculous, but I feel great.
He's only like this when he's on film.
And drugs.
That's what they're calling it nowadays.
They call you drugs? Hey, drugs, how's it going? That's funny. There, I was.
Call it being on film.
Oh, being on film.
I don't really know what I call myself for the most part in terms of what I do, because it's complicated. I play a lot of different things, some of them better than others, and my background with my father and his world music group called DOA kind of instilled an interest in instruments from all around the world.
How's that? Is that the radio? Oh yeah. You're not plugged in.
Sounded good.
Tell me, what do you think?
Sounded great!
What we found to be really special was when we started to spend time together playing more improvised pieces
Right.
with one another, with the different stuff that I play combined with his newfound passion of the upright bass.
Yeah, I think the project really grew out of just living together and having instruments lying around. Creating on the instruments, just kind of flowing in and out of the day. And that was, remains like the one of the more meaningful ways of making music to me is just intimately with a group of friends with, no beginning or end, just flowing and, between conversation and into sound and back out again, and another way of interacting with somebody. So I feel like Toby and I have some real kinship in that way, that we're able to talk and get together on that particular level.
A reverie for you, hiding things I've seen. A sound unglued, oh, it rips the seams. But close the lid.
The medium doesn't really matter. I mean, I feel like, also the way our humor works against each other. I mean, it's also, playing music could be, you know, some percussion on a desk, or, you know, I don't know, doing stupid stuff. I mean, it all kind of tends to be the same thing, I think, or comes out of a similar place.
What do you play? We tend to tell them that it's multi-instrumental, you know, multi-textural, folky. We've been defining ourselves as Americana, but you know, it's really hard to fit. It's hard for us to fit ourselves into something very specific.
I love poetry. I studied mystical poetry in school and still read a lot of poetry now, particularly that comes out of the Sufi tradition, looking at love, not necessarily just between, you know, on the human level, but maybe, well, looking at love on the human level, but also looking at love on the human to other level, be it God or kind of the larger love.
I struggle with lyrical writing, but I find my inspiration comes from wherever it's going to come from. Sometimes it comes from a positive experience. Sometimes it comes from a not so positive experience in the way that I interpret that. And but I think both of us, you know, like to use a lot of nice imagery, you know, stemming from nature and things like that. And we draw inspiration from others as well, other writers. He said, you know, as he said, Sufi poetry, and we also have a song right now that we're playing called Circles that uses lyrics from a friend of mine so we've actually taken lyrics and I've written a song, or we've written a song based off of this poem that someone else wrote. So we draw inspiration from other people as well.
The hardest challenge is writing and performing good music. That's where really the work should lie. I mean, you work your butt off in terms of trying to get your music out to people and working the scene and trying to get press and get gigs and all that. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is if the music's good or not. I kind of get turned off when people get too preoccupied with the difficulties of being a quote-unquote independent artist and trying to get your music out there. I think if the music's good, it's good, you know. And if there's 5 people who hear it, if they feel that it's good and it speaks to them, then that's worth more than getting in a newspaper or anything like that.
I've been kind of given the responsibility to, I've kind of chosen to take on the responsibility of dealing with a lot of the, like, internet stuff around, you know, how to get your music out there, because despite the fact that we need to create a good product, there's obviously still that level of, like, how do you get it out to people, how do people hear it? And so far it seemed more or less impossible to me, but part of a big challenge I think that I'm coming across is just the level of saturation out there, because now that we're all out, and it's a beautiful thing in the same way as it's a troublesome thing, because there's just all this music out there now. Anyone who has something to say and something to share with the world now has an outlet to do so on the internet. So, and there's a number of ways they can do that. And so I'm, like, kind of navigating through all this stuff and realizing how saturated, how many people are out there playing music, and you know, there's good stuff and there's a lot of bad stuff, but there is good stuff out there. And so how do you become, you know, part of that like thing that is this entity of internet music, or the music in wherever it is in the digital world and in the world period, and then how do you also remain who you are, and remain true to yourself, and remain independent, and remain, you know, pure to what you want to create and translate. And so far I think we're doing fine, but we are pretty new to the scene, you know. So we'll see what happens. We're about to go on our first big tour, so it's coming up in a couple weeks, and we'll be gone on the road, going all the way down to North Carolina and back over the course of a couple weeks. So that'll be a real test to see how our music is received. You know, it'll be a great experience for us. I think most of our stuff has evolved over time, and the live performances of them certainly influence the way they're shaped right now. The recordings that we're here doing today, for instance, are recordings that we've now incorporated Jesse Hansen into, and it's been very interesting and expansive experience to include her and see where that takes the music, I think.
It has to be a new piece, same structure and everything, but a new piece because we're just limited as to the colors we can use and things like that. Our instrumental tunes, there is space, like defined space for improvisation, and something different happens, every time, and they can flow in different ways. All the tunes can kind of lean in different ways, but some of them are more structured than others.
For me, I like making music with my best friend, and
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
it's very. I think it's maybe it's not as rare as I was about to say it is. Maybe it's not a rare thing, but it's a very special opportunity to be able to do what you love with the people you love, regardless of what that might be. And when you find someone who you have a connection with, that you can tap into something more than the ordinary or more than the everyday, then I think that's something that's worth really holding on to. And so, he puts up a lot with me, and he would say the same about me, but I know that he puts up with a lot more than me, I think. But
Prove it.
yeah, I think that being able to not only be impressed with the kind of human being that this guy is, but also with the type of musician that he is really special. And so that for me is the most exciting thing about this project. And whatever happens from here on, wherever we go, if we stay together for a long time, forever, if we go and do our own things, everything that's happened in this group has been extremely important to who I am becoming, both as a musician and as a human being.
Yeah, I'd echo all those things, absolutely. It's a two-way street, and that's what makes it so incredible and rewarding to do something you love with somebody you love, and I feel like I've grown a lot through that.
Maybe it's really simple, but I'm a lover. I love the world. I love everything about the world. I hate a lot of things actually about the world. I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of terrible things out there, but the core of what the world is and what humanity is really beautiful. I know it's the case with a lot of musicians, is communicating love. If nothing else, they feel a little bit of that love, I guess.
We speak and play music in a particular way, and there will be particular people out in the world who are ready to hear things in that way and who need it, and there are other people who don't hear things in that way. So you just hope that the people who have a similar personality to us, find that sense of kinship, I guess. Is what I hope.
And I think we've already seen a little bit of that happen on the road, so that's been exciting to see, for sure. And it's definitely never everyone in the room. It's usually, sometimes just a select few or a small group of people. But, if you can reach one person at every show, I think, we've done something right.
Each is the King of Kings, each more beautiful